Okay, welcome to our public hearing on the 2019-2020 proposed millage rate and tentative budget scheduled for 5:01 September 16th. We rescheduled from September 3rd due to the hurricane, and we will have a second budget hearing. So this is the first of two public hearings for the adoption of the millage rate and budget for the City of Orlando for fiscal year 2019-2020. At this first hearing, Council will consider for adoption the proposed millage rate and a tentative budget. At the second hearing, City Council will consider for adoption the final millage rate and budget. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the millage resolution?
City of Orlando Millage Resolution. Resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, establishing the ad valorem tax levy millage rate upon the assessed real property and business personal property tax rolls of the year 2019.
The proposed millage rate for the city for fiscal year 2019-2020 is 6.6500 mils, which is 8.86% higher than the rollback rate of 6.1090. Is there a motion to adopt the millage rate? Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Brian, do you have comments on the proposed millage rate?
Thank you, Mayor. On July 22nd, the City Council approved a millage rate of 6.65, so the appropriate filing could be made with the property appraiser by their August deadline set for the trim notification process. The millage rate is within the parameters outlined by state formula, has not changed from the prior year, is to maintain the city's levels of service.
Okay, is there a motion? Wait, we already had the motion. Sorry. A little behind myself instead of ahead of myself. Is there anyone would like to make public comment? Your card's turned in for budget versus millage rate, so I'll open it up for testimony on the budget as well. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we'll have, this is just a millage rate, and then we'll do the budget, and there's public testimony on the budget. Okay, all in favor of the motion on the millage rate, indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So the motion carries. So, Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the, whoa, that's louder, title of the budget resolution?
City of Orlando Budget Resolution. A resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, adopting the annual budget of the City of Orlando, Florida for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020.
Is there a motion to adopt the tentative budget for 2019-2020? Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Brian?
At the July 22nd budget workshop, we presented a balanced preliminary city budget. Materials detailing that budget were delivered to each commissioner and have been posted on the city's website since August 1st. During that same July 22nd presentation, I noted that it was a working draft and revisions were possible as we received more information and refined estimates. In today's budget, there are only a few changes compared to what was presented earlier. The total proposed budget now is $1,362,715,923, including a general fund budget of $517,211,834. This total budget is $647,725 less than the budget that was presented on July 22nd. The reduction is preliminary, the result of lower than expected healthcare costs. On the general fund side, the budget is $100,000 higher due to revised revenue estimates. The revised budget details have both been posted through the City Council agenda and on the city's Office of Management and Budget website since August 30th.
Commissioner Stewart, you want to go ahead and read in your...
Yeah, I'll be glad to. Thank you. Okay. Back here. As you know, I have served for many years as Executive Director of the Christian Service Center for Central Florida. The budget for this year and for many years prior to my service with the City Council has included funds for a modest grant to the center. The amount of that proposed funding for this year is $25,000. None of that money goes towards the general operation of the center. These funds, however, will not be granted to the Christian Service Center unless and until the Christian Service Center and the city enter into a separate written agreement. Such agreement will come before City Council for individual approval in October. I want to make it clear that when this specific item comes before Council, I'll abstain from voting on the funding agreement between the City of Orlando and the Christian Service Center, and we'll fill out the proper paperwork and provide it to the clerk. Thank you.
Is that all?
That's it.
Okay, is there anyone that would like to comment on the tentative budget? I do have one appearance request card, Luana Gelzer.
Luana Gelzer, 7674 St. Stephen's Court, Orlando, Florida, zip 32835. I'll round the budget off to 1.4 billion. My concern is, I looked through the entire budget. I got all the copies and everything because I'm very concerned about how tax dollars are spent. Of course, I don't have a problem with how we spend our money in public, safety, fire department and stuff like that. I'm not questioning any of those things, but I'm questioning something that I've noticed because I've been on a waiting list for quite some time. I know due to the storm, Ms. Henry over the streets and drainage was not able to get back with me. But when I looked through the budget, I was very concerned about only 2.5 million had been allocated for infrastructure improvements of the streets. She said that there was going to be some more money allocated or she would get that information back to me. So I'm going on record saying that until I receive that, what I was able to locate in this budget for the entire city, only 2.5 million for infrastructure, which means to improve the streets for paving. I was very concerned about that. And so when you have $1.4 billion and I know about 60 to 65% is for fire and police, I understand. But then I go through the budget and I look at other things and I'm very concerned about how we're spending money. And a lot of times I just see a lot of corporate welfare, a lot of projects that are not giving us the return. Today I just saw $400,000 to help another organization, sole source to Central Florida Urban League to help with the blueprint to house and assist. I just constantly see money being found and money being utilized for projects, and it seemed to be special projects, but when I look at it from the community standpoint, some of us are very concerned, especially since we've been dealing with Westmoreland since only half of Westmoreland was paid. So between Church and Colonial, Westmoreland has not. However, because Creative Village, the new downtown campus, Paramore got paid. Between Washington, well, actually, no, they went all the way to Central, right in front of the soccer stadium, not quite to $1 million. So I'm like, some of the communities are looking at why our streets are not being paved in a timely manner and why we're being put on the back burner and why is this not a priority for the city. I'll be back to talk about some other spending patterns and stuff that I'm very concerned about, but I am just concerned that infrastructure and the safety of our streets as far as for our community, the pedestrians, that we're number one in the country now, unfortunately, for pedestrians' deaths. I'm driving down the street, that little white line just disappears. It just disappeared and it comes back. And so if this is not talked about now and for next year, when will it be talked about? And in closing, Mayor Dyer, last year, you told the Huffington Post that we didn't have no money for a health disparity study. And I just saw y'all spend some money today. And I just don't understand how much longer do the people of Paramore need to wait for a health disparity study. I'm going to keep coming up here and saying it because it's important for people to know that I've seen money spent elsewhere. Like I said, $219,000 for tree grades to protect trees in the Creative Village, but the community itself. And you say, LaWanda, why you keep bringing that up? Because Mayor Dyer, as of today, $22 million was spent last year for remediation of the 500 block for the Superfund site. Today, another $30 million have been spent for the cleanup. $52 million, yet the city has no money to spend for a health disparity study or to contribute. But you are a responsible party. You're a responsible party. You're responsible for what happened to the people in Paramore, and especially at that site. And I'll keep coming before you asking to participate in a health disparity study before another child dies, because we just lost another 7-year-old. Thank you.
Okay, further discussion among commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, now we'll move to the first of two public hearings for the adoption of the millage rate and budget for the Downtown Development Board for fiscal year 2019-2020. At this first hearing, City Council will consider for adoption the proposed millage rate and tentative budget. At the second hearing, City Council will consider adoption for the final millage rate and the budget. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the millage resolution for the DDB?
Downtown Development Board Millage Resolution, a resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, establishing for the Downtown Development Board the ad valorem tax levy millage rate upon the assessed real property within the Downtown Development District of the year 2019.
The proposed millage rate for the DDB for fiscal year 2019-2020 is 1 mil, which is 22.88% lower than the rollback rate of 1.2967. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed millage rate? Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Brian?
On June 13th, the Downtown Development Board approved their millage, and on July 22nd, the City Council, on behalf of the DB, set a millage rate of $1 per $1,000 valuation. Similar to the city millage rate, the rate was submitted to the property appraiser by the August deadline for the trim notification process. The millage rate is within the parameters outlined by state formula, has not changed from the prior year, and is to maintain board-delivered programs.
Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment? Discussion among commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of the proposed millage rate motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Madam Clerk, title of the budget resolution, please.
Downtown Development Board Budget Resolution, a resolution of the City of Orlando, Florida, adopting the annual budget of the Downtown Development Board for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019, and ending September 30th, 2020.
Is there a motion to adopt the tentative?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Brian?
The total proposed budget for the Downtown Development Board is $4,402,541, which is unchanged from the budget presented at the July 22nd budget workshop. Budget materials detailing this information have already been presented to each commissioner and posted on the city's website since August 1st.
All right, I do have a request for public comment. Luana Gelzer.
I have to do my address again for the record.
What's that?
Do I have to do my address again? Alana Gelzer, 7674 St. Stephen's Court, Orlando, Florida, zip 32835. I just had a discussion in the city clerk's office, and I noticed when it came to the Downtown Development Board, we could talk about it, but the CRA, because you're the CRA and making a decision, the CRA budget, no one can comment on it unless it's on the consent agenda. But because I was at both of those meetings, and I have the CRA and the Downtown Development Board meeting budget, I'm going to comment on both of them together. Got it? Had to take some time to get it. Actually, was threatened I couldn't get the information because it's not provided to the public unless you go to the meeting. So some of the things I was very concerned about, especially in the CRA budget, was that they had allocated almost $5 million for Paramore Oaks Phase 1, 2, and 3. I also noticed that there's a downtown master plan new, $1 million. Orange and Robinson Pocket Park, $1.250 million. District revitalization, $1 million. And the new public park in Creative Village, $7 million. I stand before you to say this. I'm putting you on notice, whether you do anything about it or not. I've seen CRA, downtown development money being spent furiously. I mean, I don't know what to say. Other than to say, citizens, we need to wake up and understand how our money is being spent. Well, the reason why I can speak about it, because I have a business in the CRA. And I'm very concerned about how money is being spent and how we're being told we don't have funding for certain projects. And I'm very concerned about that. So, on the record, UCF, sale agreement, March 20th, 2017, $14.5 million it was worth. And the UCF memorandum of agreement with the City of Orlando is that they will pay the taxpayers zero, not one dime. Not one dime. Now you're getting a park worth $7 million, but it's classified as a public park. Why can't we have a health disparity study in that community? You spent $3 million on remediation. Oh, I forgot to mention that you covered all remediation, cleaning up the contamination in Creative Village, but not for the rest of the community. Mayor Dye, this is just a sad day that I keep coming before you to say the citizens are saying, we just want a health disparity study, but we can see for $14.5 million, $125,000 for an incubator center today that they're going to allocate for it. The retention pond that we filled in $6 million federal funds, $1.6 million for remediation for Fire Station 2. Don't even know how much we spent for Orlando Police Headquarters. And I'm repeating this over and over again. Even the $6 million for Constitutional Park. To say that the money is there for the rest of the citizens, especially the people in the Paramore community that needs a health disparity study. Remember, in closing, you are a responsible party. You are. The city is named in the EPA, is in all the documents. Do something for the citizens before we lose another person to respiratory problems. Because they found 2 10-by-10 vaults buried 20 feet in the ground. So evidently they knew what they were doing back in those years. And they didn't want to be caught, but they was recently caught. So I'm just saying to you, it's a serious matter. And I'm going to keep coming back and before the City of Orlando and let you know the people would like to have a health disparity study. Thank you.
Okay, further discussion among commissioners? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, now we will take up the hearing on our Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District. This is the first of 2 public hearings for the adoption of the millage rate and budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District for fiscal year 2019-2020. At this first hearing, City Council will consider for adoption the proposed millage rate and tentative budget. At the second hearing, City Council will consider for adoption the final millage rate and budget. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the millage resolution?
Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District Millage Resolution. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District levying an ad valorem tax at the rate of $1 per $1,000 of assessed value on non-exempt real property located within the jurisdictional boundaries of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing for administrative millage adjustment in accordance with Florida statutes, providing for the collection of taxes, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
The proposed millage rate for, let's see, motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. Motion for the proposed millage rate for the Downtown South NID for fiscal year 2019-2020 is 1 mil, which is 8.96% higher than the rollback rate of 0.9178. Got a motion, Brian?
On July 10th, the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District Advisory Council recommended their millage, and on July 22nd, City Council on behalf of the Downtown South NID set a millage rate of $1 per 1,000 valuation. Similar to the city millage rate, the rate was submitted to the property appraiser by the August deadline for the trim notification process. Millage rate is within the parameters outlined by state formula, has not changed from the prior year, and is to provide administration and infrastructure projects within the district.
I do not have any requests for public comment, so is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion on the proposed millage rate indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the budget resolution?
Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District Budget Resolution, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District adopting the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing certain budget accounting procedures, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Brian?
The total proposed budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District is $1,345,065, which is unchanged from the budget that was presented at the July 22nd budget workshop. But budget materials detailing this information have been presented to each commissioner and been posted on the city's website since August 1st.
Not have any requests for public comment, discussion among commissioners. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, if there's no objection, we're going to adjourn the city council meeting and we are going to convene the board of directors for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District. So switch your hats, become that board. Okay, this is the first of two public hearings for the adoption of the millage rate and budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District for fiscal year 2019-2020. At this first hearing, the Board of Directors will consider for adoption the proposed millage rate and tentative budget. At the second hearing, the Board of Directors will consider for adoption the final millage rate and budget. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the millage resolution?
Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District Board of Directors, millage resolution. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and the Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District levying an ad valorem tax at the rate of $1 per $1,000 of assessed value on non-exempt real property located within the jurisdictional boundaries of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing for administrative millage adjustment in accordance with the Florida statutes, providing for the collection of taxes, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Hill. The proposed millage rate for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District for fiscal year 2019-2020 is 1 mil, which is 8.96% higher than the rollback rate of 0.9178. Brian?
On July 10th, the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District Advisory Council recommended their millage, and on July 22nd, the Board of Directors of the Downtown South NID set a millage rate of $1 per thousand valuation. Similar again to the city's millage rate, the rate was submitted to the property appraiser by the August deadline for trim notification process. Millage rate was within the parameters outlined by the state formula, has not changed from the prior year, and is to provide administration and infrastructure projects within the district.
I don't have any requests for public comment. Is there any discussion among board members? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Madam Clerk, would you read the title of the budget resolution?
Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District Board of Directors Budget Resolution, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, and Board of Directors of the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District adopting the fiscal year 2019-2020 budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District, providing certain findings, providing certain budget accounting procedures, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, repeal of conflicting resolutions, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. Brian?
The total proposed budget for the Downtown South Neighborhood Improvement District is $1,345,065, which is unchanged from the budget presented at the July 22nd budget workshop. Budget materials detailing this information have been presented to each commissioner and been posted since the city's website since August 1st.
I have no request for public comment. Is there discussion among the board? If not, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. That's all of the business to come before the Board of Directors today, so we will stand adjourned, and we will do this again next Monday. Is it next Monday or 2 Mondays?
Wednesdays.
Next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, next,
You wanna announce the
okay.
date?
Well, what is the date, Brian?
25th?
25th.
25th, yeah.
25th.
Okay, and we will give appropriate accolades to staff on Wednesday.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yay. We'll give them to it now. Both the board meeting and the council.